I'm just gonna say it now to get it out of the way, but any comments that are in any way directed towards either the longevity or the duration of my forehead will result in an instant permaban from the entire internet. I will come to your house and set your computer on fire is what I'm trying to say. But because I know that you're all wondering it already, yes, my barber goes to Berlin at least twice a year solely to suck cock. So what? What's it to you? Listen, we've all got insecurities. Every guy has something or the other, from his height to his height to whatever else his brain could possibly use against him to torture himself for existing. But since we all know that you can't overcome insecurities, you can just hope to one day be rid of them. And since plastic dong surgery isn't in fashion yet, well then your only hope is to go out and maximize everything else, of course. After all, this is exactly how happiness and purpose or whatever the fuck operates. Which all begs the question of what's really the next best option? Well, welcome to the gym. See, for a little context, just like Coke or Lady Bushes or really anything else from the 80s, lifting weights is cool again. Or at least cooler in comparison to how it was for all those snot-nosed pip millennials that came in the meantime. Me personally, I've been a pretty casual gym goer from before I even had any hair on my sack. Which is not an exaggeration. I distinctly remember some old lady have to pretty much just curl the bar on top of me more than spot me my first time ever trying to do bench press. Before heading to the bathroom to masturbate my own silky baby bits furiously to my own humiliation. But nowadays I can bench the bar all by myself. I even have hair on my balls. So yeah, I think you can say times have changed. You know, looking back, the gym is definitely a very weird place to try and get used to at first. Really, nothing can prepare you for 100 people all gathered together to unanimously thrust and grunt and walk around the changing room sort of gay with a towel off or kind of like a f*** with it on. All for at least $50 a month. Personally, I've always been of the opinion that the gym should be a little less horny. But at the end of the day, what can be done? Because at the end of the day, it's a hot, sweaty place that gets the blood pumping, and at least half the equipment in there could belong in a BDSM dungeon. Which is definitely a scary thought, especially when you take into consideration how no man wants his face plastered all over a girl's TikTok page over splitting only a second for a glance. By the way, there's only really one solution that can work in that situation, because sitting there with a big pair of googly eyes plastered to your face has never worked for anyone ever. What you're gonna want to do when you find yourself in the position that you just can't look away is just to simply go up to her so that you can get your hopes crushed as soon as possible and get the f back to that bench. Okay, what I'm really trying to get at in one way or another is how the gym is absolutely not as simple as just paying your fees and showing up and working out. There is way more to it. I mean, one of the most important things you got to think about even before you step foot in there is about striking an appropriate gym life balance, because it is so much easier to become a full-on gym bro than you might initially presume. All it really takes is one too many sessions a week and asking the wrong guy to be your spotter before all of a sudden the only people you know at all are the ones you know in the gym. You've replaced all your grown-up t-shirts with those slutty little vests that you can show off your nipples in. Before most of the meals that you eat were prepared last week. Roman numeral tattoos are a valid waste of money for you, and you're taking shirtless photos in the gym locker room irregardless of the butt-ass naked old man in the back, because you can't care about jack shit anymore as long as the lighting's right. I mean, in the most douchery of cases, I've seen fellas go full-on gym bro in as little as a couple of months from ever stepping foot in the front door. Like, how can your whole entire identity be based around some bullshit that you still suck at? And I get how you might have to be in the gym every now and then if you're ever gonna look good and get girls and shit. But what is any of that worth if you never step outside of the damn place anyways? You're hardly gonna see much return on those investments if the only girls that you do see is your mother at dinner time and the gym receptionist. And no, gym girls don't count as female. Anyways, what did I already tell you? Get the f back to that bench. And I know how this may all seem to be a little bit of a gag for someone who's just getting used to the gym now, but I mean, it's serious shit. I've seen way too many fellas get hooked on a lifestyle of 3-hour sessions and 0 rest days, which, just so you know, means that your entire everyday is split between 3 hours training, 3 hours eating, an hour's drive, 2 looking in the mirror, half an hour choosing which deadlift clip belongs on an Instagram story that only other gym bros will ever see, and whatever's left just shitting your guts. Like, what's the end goal of all this? Samsung level results? Especially Samsung level results should not make this worth it for you. That, ladies and gentlemen, is an addiction. A real addiction that can lead to real mental problems, such as gender dysphoria. Or shit, is it body dysmorphia? But honestly, it might as well just be gender dysphoria at a certain point, ladies. This one gym bro in particular that I used to know was so dedicated to his bulk that he'd literally leave his house in the evening to pop down to the shop to pick himself up a pack of ice cream sandwiches and a box of donuts, all to eat on his way home just to meet his calorie intake goals for the day. That is fucked. I wouldn't even want to be seen near that shit. It's just not normal. And I'm not sure exactly what it was that gave him the notion to be doing all that. And granted, he was a hell of a dipshit. So I'm sure that all these enormous gorilla-built influencers out there willing to sell you any and every supplement other than the ones that they're actually on didn't help in his case. Funny enough, in a way, all these knuckle scrapers aren't necessarily wrong when they're promoting their scams, because it's not really like you have to eat all day and shit all night just to make it count. There are, of course, alternatives, such as steroids. And here's a reality check for any dipshit that might be watching right now. But just because someone pinky promises from the bottom of their heart that they're not on juice, that does not necessarily mean that they're not on juice. Jesus Christ, how can you be so naive? Did your dad never lie to you? You're Honestly, it's pretty safe to assume that anyone who makes money off of their physique is faking it in some way. If you think about it, I mean, if it became a transactional investment for you also, then, like, why wouldn't you? Me personally, I like my little fellas the way they are. I mean, I just got hair on them. But obviously there's gonna be some people willing to deal with the consequences later. And I don't think that there's necessarily anything wrong with that. I don't even see anything wrong with them lying to you about it, if it makes them look better for their money deals. Because it's not like that's just the bad part of the fitness industry anymore. That is the entire fitness industry. A lot of the time, that's their only option. So I guess it's just your job then to do the work and go outside and figure out what regular people do and do not look like. Nowadays, it's so mainstream that even the options that are out there are all pretty safe. I mean, you'll still be 25 and bald from it. So it's not necessarily a solution to your problems, it just more kind of shifts them a little. There's nothing wrong with gymming being a hobby of yours, but it's never gonna be worth going the whole 9 yards for. Like, it's never even gonna be as much as a job for you unless you're like truly bootylicious. So it's hardly an excuse for your whole life. It's not like I'm trying to be some big nerd and be all jealous of all you gym bros with the ability to look like two absolutely different people at different stages in the year. Because ironically, most of the biggest nerds that I know are gym bros. Just because you're jacked, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not still a fat ass loser. Just because everything you know is about the gym and not dinosaurs or whatever, doesn't mean that it's not still autism. What I'm really trying to say is that objectively, a normal life outside of the gym is better than a one that's spent entirely wholly in it, even if your gains may suffer marginally as a result. After all, I mean, they do always tell me that bigger doesn't necessarily mean better. So I think that the reason why some people refuse to ever take a break is more or less overcompensation. I mean, for example, just look at this fella Bradley Martin. He literally acts like he could beat up any MMA fighter he interviews. Are you gonna try and tell me that he's not overcompensating? It's crazy. I don't get why any Miami millionaire in 2025 would have to be so insecure. Either embrace yourself or go and get some plugs. Either way, take the hat off when you're inside, man. It's no surprise to anyone what's underneath there. You've just got to be able to ask yourself, what are the reasons that have made you want to start working out in the first place? See, I don't know about you exactly. All I do know is that it's about attractiveness and health and making life easier for everybody else. And that nothing about a 4-pack of ice cream sandwiches in one bin sounds healthy, easy, or sexy to anybody else. The gym can only really serve you those good reasons. I mean, it's not that complicated, fellas. So to all the 16-year-olds that are trying to excessively work out all of their insecurities, torturing themselves on internet advice in hopes of one day not being such an ugly little motherfucker, go buy yourself a pair of stylish sneakers or some shit, and a can of deodorant that doesn't smell like the second stinkiest continent on earth. And for the love of God, stop rocking this dumbass cut as if that in any way helps your case. I think that at this stage, pretty much anyone, male or female, has a distinct core memory of trying to shove down one more chicken burger or you know, throw it up at some stage or another throughout their life. I do have bulimia. But it's because there's this direct algorithmic pipeline of kids growing up on the internet with all the fucking psychological issues that come along with that, having their balls or clit drop, and then being forced to be uncomfortable trying to communicate with other humans, or just in general not be such a fucking loser all of a sudden out of the blue, who are then offered this kind of shit as the key to confidence. But it just doesn't work that way, so don't be afraid to grow out of this shit, because I hate to break it to you kids, but the gym can't work out everything. Easy Bets is your new favorite way to place your bets online. By just following the simple instructions on the website, Easy Bets will offer you odds on any game with guaranteed winnings for absolutely free. So what are you waiting on? It's about time that you turned reckless spending into your bitch and felt for yourself the best feeling in the whole entire world. Making easy money you don't deserve. These gambling sites shouldn't be the only ones to know how that feels. Easy Bets. It's about time you turned the tables.